No sound. Can you hear me now, guys? How we doing? Can you hear me? And look, Dollar. Never mind, Dollar. That's all right. You wasn't to know. That's fine. Can you hear me now? No sound. Have we got sound? Can someone confirm? Can hear you now. Right. Do apologise. I took myself out, but obviously, whilst sharing the screen, I did not share the audio. So apologies for that. But we're back on. Thank you, everyone, for jumping on. Number one, yes, whatever that is. Yes, thank you very much, sir. Hello and welcome, or ma'am. Yes, John, how we doing? Yes, we're back in. We're back in. Dolly's on it. Yes, how we doing? Where's Damien? Yes, Damien, Templar, Jimmy. Some usual suspects, but some new frequenters. Hello and welcome. How are we doing? Hope we're managing to stay sane. There's a lot of crazy information out there, and we're all at a bit of a conundrum on a personal level, aren't we? Yes, mate. Yeah. Yes, you can do, Dolly. That's fine. That's no problem at all. Okay, let's talk about this for a minute. Mate, you are so right. So right. I don't know what's going on. Whatever's going on my channel is being done. Is it paranoid to say aggressively? Because I am having multiple people. A lot of people have got rationale on my channel because they're not ultimately turning and going, Phil, you're deleting me comments. I used to get that back in the day, and I will say now, the only comments I will delete are really vile comments, which are very rare. And also when you get spam, when people put these comments up, and when you press it, some chick there with a boobies out saying, yeah, come and check this out. They're the only ones I'll just remove straight off the bat. Other than that, I let people have to say if they're full of shit. I think the public court of opinion will work that out. But I can understand, mate, because I can see it. I seen it the other day, and there was another video I'd put up, and someone else, I think it was Rob, who'd noticed it, that there seemed to be more thumbs up than the views. And how can that happen? So then when it comes to deleting comments and content of comments, yeah, there's something radically going on within that channel, and it's weird. I can't put my finger on it, but we do, as Dolly says, this goes on. It does goes on. Yes, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I've managed to get in with like a trained assassin, right, and just boxed it off. I only had a couple of hours work, but even that felt like a full day when I didn't want to be there and I knew I could be out. And I thought, right, as I said before, when there was no sound, thank you all for jumping on. But I was due to hold a live stream tonight with Brit Girl, Janelle, and possibly Dolly Daydream. Now, it's transpired that two of the three are unable to make it for other reasons, and Dolly, I'm hoping, will be able to make it tomorrow. So I'm hoping at least two of the three will be there tomorrow night for a stream. If not all three, that would be awesome. So hi to everybody. Yes, Rainbow Wizard, Dolly Daydream, everyone to check out a channel. Lovely in light channel. Nothing but honesty and just trying to do the right thing. Yes, Great Brit, how we doing, sir? Press 1 if you want the booby comments to stay. Mate, Great Brit, you just bobbed your head up to just, discombobulate. I'm trying to keep people away from the old B-movie stuff, and you're like, just saying, nah, don't shadow ban that shit, Phil. Get it on. We all need a distraction. Well, yeah, that would be a distracting, wouldn't it? You're being shadow banned and refuse free speech. Yes, yeah, it's happening in so many ways. And you're feeling it because you're putting comments out. And I will say there was a little bit of a mind F going on last night. If anyone knows, and like anyone else, yes, D8 must... What's that? Yeah, mate. Excellent. Where are we? Where were I? Right, let me get back to that. Sorry. Yes, thank you. Good morning. Yeah, yesterday was crazy for so many things. With the uploads that you're putting up, it's a contentious issue now. It's going to rock the boat with people's different consciousness, people's different intellects, and their cognitive dissonance levels, as in whether they're fighting and don't want to at least look into the argument itself, whether you want to fully go with the person and go, well, I totally believe you, but even we're struggling now for people to entertain that this might be a thing. And that's what's really weird, when people will put posts like this and just get on you. Yeah. This guy got on me on a video. Now, the video, I will explain. Anyone on here, we all kind of frequent pretty much similar channels. So we all know our Brit Girl, our Rachel, damn intelligent lady. And I tell you what, she's got bigger balls than me for a lot of things she says and the way she says it. And I commend her for it. She put a video up that was showing a website that was collating evidence of people that, unfortunately, it transpires that they may have died due to certain things are going on, yeah, within a short space of time. And if they didn't, then what is happening, that the body was reacting in such a way. So this had a variable link to it. She put the video up, YouTube take it down. She puts it up again, YouTube take it down. Why she hasn't been given a strike? I think the first time she put it up, they took it down on nudity. When I've seen the video, there ain't no nudity in it. And she put a video up talking about this. And defiantly, she's put it up a third time. Now, they're ultimately going to take it down a third time. And same again, I don't know why they're not throwing out a strike. That's a bit weird. I asked Brit Girl for her to send me the video via another way, and I will integrate it with whatever I can to see what happens. And I did. I then duly uploaded it to my channel, and it was, I think it was the last video? Jesus, I've uploaded that many. No, a couple of videos ago, where it was interlinking an advert that's going out on national TV, where it's showing a series of actors that are trying to convince the ethnic community, and probably every other fucker who's prepared to listen to them. So don't listen to any evidence or any facts. Just listen to my celebrity that's telling you, get your ass to the jabbing centre and get a jab, okay? With no accountability, no, nothing at all. Now, same with Rachel, same with probably a lot of you down here. My point of view, it's up to you. My point of view is I'm a pro-choicer. I'm up for making an informed decision. So lay out the facts and let me. And if I choose to not do it, then that is my right as an individual. I should be able to do that. I'm of sound mind and body. I can differentiate. And if I don't like the look of something, I ain't going to eat it. So all of a sudden, you're telling me to eat something I don't like. That's how it feels at this moment in time. So I edit this video and I put it up there. And yeah, a lot of people see the point I'm making and will have more evidence to back up that video than I've got. So I'm not coming on here saying I'm Johnny Big Balls and look at me, I've got all the proof here. No, I'm just doing what ultimately other people are doing and sharing bits and bobs of information. And I'm adding my own little bit here and there. So then this guy jumps on, and this guy is like throwing comments out, throwing insults out, like the fucking free sweets, right? And I'm taking it, I'm rising above it, because I'm like, whatever. I'm not going to go there with you, dude, yeah? And then he puts this out, and it made me think. He kind of not halted me in my tracks, because I know I've got truth on my side, and I know there's legitimate points in what we're talking about, and I know within the whole shit stink that's going on, there are vicious and multiple anomalies. that even the average person with half a fucking brain cell can get on. Pardon my French, right? So this guy, I don't know whether he's white or black, but half of his texts were talking in some kind of fucking street slang. So I had to tell him to talk English. And then either he deleted that or YouTube had deleted it because they got on to the point that he was losing his freaking way in the argument, yeah? So I'm going to really run through what go on in. This is what he put that kind of made me go, dude, that was a low blow. Listen, put it this way, my mum is dying of cancer. My nanny's 92, who has dementia and has had a stroke. They both had the vaccine and both have had no side effects at all. And to be honest, mate, you're putting absolute nonsense up which could end up murdering people because they might decide after watching that it's not worth it. Mate, you'll have blood on your hands. That's some fucking statement. Thank you, Jonathan. But yeah, not asked because you won't see them or even hear of them. Right. What I put out is up to people to make an informed decision. I am not putting out glossy videos telling you not to take a vaccine. I have ultimately said to multiple people, if you decide on a personal level that a vaccination is what you want because of your own personal physiological situation, or maybe a family situation, or maybe the fact that you just want to go on holiday, whatever it is, you do it. You make your own personal choice. It's not for me to call out people who have intellectually decided that their course is to take the vaccine. That is up to them. One thing I will say is that they will have to live with whatever consequences, won't they? At the same time, just like I will. So if you're going to toss guilt, throw it back on your side, okay? Don't accuse me of having blood on my hands when I haven't got a single bit of blood on my hands at all. Yes, thank you, Shirley. Well, I'm trying, Jimmy, and we're all trying. We're all in the same spot that are seeing anomalies, and that's all it is. I'm not now running out and going, right, that's it, they want to kill us all. There's many people who want to come to that conclusion, and to be fair, when they look at what the fuck are going on in, can you blame them? When you've got a media that ain't saying shit and don't look over there, but yet there's all kinds of funky stuff going down, and people getting banned, there's comments, you've got to go by the WHO guidelines, but the WHO don't know their ass from their elbow. You've got BBC that's literally telling the public that you're all full of shit and you're pretty much racist unless you go with it. And by the way, pay your goddamn license. So when people are waking up on all variable different conscious levels, it's not for Jonathans of the world to come out with this. If he's clearly in his like little Havana moment and everything's sweet and lets everyone have the vaccine, then go for it, mate. In fact, put my name in and you can have mine. That's how much I don't really give a shit. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, let me tell you. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. You know why, right? The moment a fucking viper bites my ass, I'll be like, shove that vaccine in my arm now. I ain't against the vaccine. What I'm against is a rollout on manipulated facts and heavy-weighted fear tactics in order to get you to do something ultimately that you probably don't need to do. And as a consequence of that, what we're now getting is innocent people that through fear have been governed to do something that they probably on a medical level didn't need to do, are now winding up with all kinds of physiological effects. So how do you explain that, Jonathan? But there's no blood on his hands. He just wants to say, no, my two family members are fine. So everyone else, fucking take it. And by the way, Because I've got 2 family members that are vulnerable, it means y'all have got to take it. That is a bad position to be at. I would never, no matter what is going on with me on a personal level, my vulnerability or what I've had in the past or what I'm susceptible to get in the future, I would not inflict everyone's life on a mitigated level in order to make my life safe. That is unfair. There's no question that that is unfair. You've got a media that won't even enter the debate on freedom of choice, on why does a healthy person have to do this when they clearly don't want to. And they could argue that it's probably maybe detrimental if they was to enter on that. It seems like a bit of a gamble. And I don't know how many people are gamblers. I am not a gambler. That's the one thing. Out of all the faults I've got in the freaking world, gambling ain't one. And I ain't gonna fucking gamble with my life when I know I'm all right. I know the people around me are all right. I know the people around me, like me, could drop and die of anything at any point. And that has happened to so many people I have known and loved. So shit's real. We're not all infallible. I'm not trying to big up my chest and say nothing could ever happen to me. But I want to live for something that only seems to be no more than a cold or flu. You're going to transform the whole goddamn world. And then that's without really critiquing the confidence within what you're pumping into people. Why were the regulations cut so short when in reality, don't be using that as a selling point. That is one reason why you should be shit scared about this thing right now. It's crazy. So, Jonathan, you consider with your stance and not even listening to people and allowing people to express their views and also show bits of information that may back it up without getting conspiratorial. I ain't got no tinfoil hat on here by any means. I want to get to the truth. People want to get to the truth, but it's the Jonathans of this world that won't let you get to the truth, because soon as you want to get to the truth, what's he saying? You've got blood on your hands. Okay, Jonathan, let's see how much blood that is going to end up on your hands by the end of this stream. Let's wait and see, right? So this may take a while for me to do this, but I'll get this down. Sorry for that rant, but my God, that is a hell of a statement to come out with. And I think that is way unfair. And I'm not trying to go against the grain without true legitimacy. I'm not one of them that's running forward on conspiracy theories at all. Well, maybe, Carlans, but mate, he would not stop. And there was others that you had. You know what else you get with commenters? You get people that are scaredy cats. You get people that will thumb it up, but they haven't got the balls to come and say a comment. And you know it? People that will just put the weight behind someone that's decided to come out and slag you off, but they ain't leaving no comment. Someone will come and thumb your video down, but he ain't going to critique it. And it's like, what? You're full of shit. You're full of shit. I'm like you that wants to get to the truth. I don't want to see people going through this. I don't want to see a government that is putting so much fear through people. But yeah, this Jonathan don't want to blame China or other affiliates that may be involved in spreading this bio-fucking warfare that seems to be more acting like that than an actual virus if you went on temperature alone. And professionals have said that. So there's so many anomalies, but Jonathan would rather give it me and you and say all I'm doing is disseminating fake news, when he's going to look at the BBC and he's going to go, they're not fake news. That's a sufficient amount of fear for me and everyone else to now be jabbed. That's a sufficient amount of fear now that if people don't want to be jabbed, we need to isolate them. We need to get them away from normal society. Are we really going there? That you want to now start castigating people on such a goddamn level that you're talking about literally ostracizing people away from what is going to be the clean society? My God, when you're talking about a caste system, when you're talking about a class system, that one's going to win the fucking prize, I'm telling you, if they get away with that shit. And you're going to get your Jonathans of the world that's actually going to go, you know what, it's a good idea. Your red pill Phils and everyone else who thinks like him, they shouldn't be going to football matches. They shouldn't be going to concerts. They shouldn't be sat down at tables having meals. How has society got here in the space of 18 months? We've had the polarization of all different fronts. I'll totally agree with you. For decades, I get that. But how has the final nail been able to do this? My bloody God. Yes, Carol. And I know, Carol, you know what? You were the first one to mention it. Well, no, I think a lot of people have mentioned, to be fair, but you wrote a comment, and I do look at comments. I don't look at them all, and thank you very much for leaving them. Same again, I'm not a deleter of comments unless there's a reason for it. But Carol, you mentioned about deleted comments, and you tried to do it in a way to get my attention, and I've seen it. And you also mentioned about my subs and stuff, and how it's still stuck in a kind of fucking time warp. It's like, man, it's like it keep going forward, rewind, forward, rewind. There may be a reason. There may be, you know, with people that come on, you appeal to them and then all of a sudden you don't. People turn, people change. People, you know, and you could say that about the YouTuber as well as the commenter. But like you say, this does seem weird with what's going on this channel. I'm not saying what is going on this channel is any more extraordinary than what anyone else is going through. No, but it's visible. It's so goddamn visible. It's crazy. Let me take this off. Look, I'm not bloody suspicious. I put tape on the goddamn camera. You know what I mean? Tell you, tinfoil hat wearer, then must be. So let me get to this, because what it is now, that video that I put up, that Brick Girl put up, that they keep taking down, that if at the very beginning, I'm not sure whether I edited it out. It's actually on Brick Girl's edition, I'm sure of it. There's a link to a website. And, well, by the way, before I do that, let me show you my reply to this Donna Tang. So this is my reply. Sorry to hear about your mother, which I genuinely am, even if the guy bloody hates me. God damn it, I don't want anything like that to ever happen to any of his family. Any of them. I don't even want him to catch a fucking cold. So why all of a sudden he's coming out with spears at me? For God's sake. Sorry to hear about your mother. I'm not pushing anything on anyone, unlike these celebs. If anyone was to die by listening to them, would they be accountable? Please keep in mind, I have not or will not advise anyone not to take a jab. There is a choice, remember, pro-fucking choice. Sorry, paraphrasing. Clearly, unlike you. Lastly, why are you all over my channel then? If my content is a load of nonsense, that is irrational. So it's the same as, I mean, I don't get, that's the last point I'm making, and I'll go back to this. I don't get the logic in people. If I don't like someone's content, Do you think I've got time to go and sit and watch his shit? I'm like, really? I've got tunes to make, I've got a bike to ride, I've got tea, I've got washing, I've got fucking fish to feed. I'm like, why? So why put myself through that? And I don't get the logic. I only watch stuff that's actually going to enrich me, not stuff that's going to take me down. So if he does feel that, then what are you doing? But people are people, and we're all working our own shit out in this. It's crazy. There you go. Man after my own heart. Man after my own heart. When I think it was one of the leaders of the CIA come out years ago and said, he actually said, more intelligent people than me cover their laptop camera up. So when he says it, I'm like, I couldn't get that fucking duct tape out quick enough. I'm like, ah! Oh, Ellis. I don't, I don't want to sound here that I'm above people, because I'm not. We're all working this crap out. We've all got queries. We're all, we're not all, but on here, we're balanced. Sometimes you guys will put me in check. Sometimes I've got to put you in check when people are, going over. You know what I mean? And it's fair enough. And there's a reason why people go over. There's a reason why people turn far right when they were centrist. There's a reason why a Muslim will go from a peace-loving Muslim to be a radical and want to strap his ass up and blow the first fucker up that comes near him. There's a reason why a guy just randomly will just go and stab a 6, 7, 8-year-old girl. There's always reasons, but you can't predict. There's always an element of progression in there, chain of events, and what go on in here? Electric tape. You know what? My duct tape's actually falls off now. It falls off because I've fucking sticking it on that much. It's actually got no adhesive on it now. It just fucking falls off, pardon my French. So I'm going to have to get a little bit more on there. They can watch my camera. They're only going to see me working. There, Jimmy the Grafter. Working doing what though, Jimmy? And I hope you got clothes on while you're doing it, mate. Sorry, me and my walk mind. Right. Nothing. You're right, Sheila. Nothing should be forced on anyone. Pro-choice, not. No choice. That's my little slogan, and I love it. I'm going to use that more and more. Right, here we go. Phil, watch the interview with Frank Abagnale at Google and catch me if you can, guy. Very interesting when he talks about AI. Okie dokie. Okay. To a degree, you're right. To a degree, there's a lot of people have took theories to another level as well, which doesn't help. But I've been watching stuff for 2-3 decades, and it's incrementally come into place, incrementally. And with so many people that were laughed, they were mocked, but then they still come out with eminent people, intelligent people, who then had documents. So we're still in the same boat. We're still in that same boat. And it's like, you know what this COVID's uncovered? That probably all of them did. But because this has hit the globe now, and not just a percentage of people who talk about various points, cognitive dissonance, people who are prepared to fight with you over battling their own truths. It's hard. It's hard to contemplate that there is possibly something sinister going on. It's hard to contemplate that even if there's nothing sinister and everything's fucking perfect, They're woefully getting it wrong. Woefully. So either way, it isn't good. Either way, don't bury your head in the sand. Either way, get round the fact that if you don't address this, you might as well be bending over and saying, you know what, put that swab right up there and don't even lube me. Just do it. Twinkle it around. In fact, do a fucking Patrick Moore and start playing the xylophone, because I'm that submissive at this point that I'm not going to stop you. In fact, what I'm going to do is anyone that tries to question, never mind physically or violently or create some form of freaking disobedience, just a simple post, I'm going to attack them. So you're actually assisting your own fucking xylophone playing. Are you not? Are you not? And I don't get it. I'm not a violent guy. You guys are not violent. We don't go around saying what a crack skulls in for this and that. And man, with the amount of research I've done over the past 4 years, you're lucky I've not been locked under the jail, because the amount of shit that I've come across, and that's before what I was doing before. But when you're looking into abuse, all the failings there, when you look into the eyes of survivors that are telling you how many specimen counts have been counted on their underwear, but yet no one believes them, they'll call them racist. Take that home, Phil, and sleep on that, will you? When you see people getting rich and they're doing fuck all about it, take that home, Phil, get on that, and post something else tomorrow. And you look at, it's hard to keep a level float. And this is why I understand with you guys. I understand. Because there'll be guys on here that are more informed than me. They're going, I can't believe I'm still fucking functioning at this point. You know what I mean? I'm actually saying, and the people that are less informed, that are less reluctant to look at shit, they're the ones running around like fucking chimpanzees in a fucking zoo, all over the place. And that is weird. But there's something very fascinating and enjoyable about it. Whether that's my sickness coming out, I don't know. For God's sake. Pushing. Hey up. What are you pushing? Oh, here we go. Both sides are being pushed to extremes, Phil. Yeah, you're right. No accident division. You know what? It's something so fucked up about that. But why am I in a mood where my sense of humour just looks at this and goes, man, you've got to take the piss out of this shit, because I can't believe people. It's like that advert. Remember that advert? A famous chocolate advert where they utilised a rabbit and a turtle, yeah? That old story. The rabbit and the turtle. Obviously, everyone thought the rabbit was going to do it, yeah? And the turtle, you know? And this advert, the rabbit was a female. And the rabbit would be chilled to fuck. Just chilling like that. Eating a bit of chocolate going, what are you rushing for, Mr. Turtle? It's like the world slowed down. It's like the world is slowing down, and you'll feel the same way. I can see it. Within that slowed down, glitches have appeared. And I'm like, man, shit. Now I'm glitches. Try to explain that to people who see world in real time and reacting to the world in real time. They ain't seen them glitches. To me, like, the glitches are everywhere. Like, what the? Yeah, I didn't want to say it. Guys, because I ended up getting a strike for it. You know what I mean? It's that freaking fickle. If Brit Gill can get her video taken down because of nudity, then they'll probably put a copyright claim because I've mentioned the brand, which the actual chocolate is actually all right. And that's another thing. The actual maker of that chocolate, they're narrative makers, the liars. I remember taking my daughter to the factory that is open to the public. Very nice as a spectacle. You get to see how chocolate's made. You get to take a bag home. Great for your kids. Cost you an arm and a bleeding leg, but very enjoyable. There's some virtual reality stuff there, so all the kids can get uber involved. Awesome, right? I'll never watch this. Was years ago, so I hope they fucking updated this. Pardon my French, but this rant's coming out now. We've got it. This particular chocolate brand, right? The company, which is located in Birmingham, let's say it, right? Long freaking drive down there. Get there. I'm looking at the history of how they claim chocolate came into the West, right? And they're showing a series of stills. The series of stills show Cortez in his suit of armor stood next to an indigenous Aztec South American. Fucking shaking hands and exchanging cocoa beans. And I'm like, you're telling the kids that he went over there looking like Metal Mickey just for a fucking cup of coffee, right? I knock on next door because I need a cup of sugar. Don't tell them that he's gone all the way over there, right? And shook hands and said, mate, you couldn't put a fucking bit of coffee in there, could you? And I went, oh, yeah, sorry, mate. There you go. Yeah, good to see you. No, let's not forget about the slaughtering of all them people. Let's not forget about the disease that the Spanish brought upon them lands. Let's not forget about how most of that side of the planet now speaks goddamn Spanish. Get on that shit. So you've got Metal Mickey there shaking his hands. Man. And it's like indoctrination. Don't tell the kids about that. Just get them to get that whisper down the frigging comments. Man, it's a lie. Everything's a goddamn lie. So going back to what we were saying before, fucking hell, the fact that we're still saying, give yourself a pat on the back, yeah? Because there's many reasons why we all should go on. We had 2 world wars and we can't even refuse a jab. Right, let me get back to, right, I'm going to go to my screen sharing right now, okay? And let me see where I'm at. How do we get onto this now? Right, I need to go onto my whole screen. I need to go onto this. Okay, so basically, this has come up now when I tapped in that link to the original video that I'm getting castigated for, that I'm saying I've got blood on my hands. It led to this. COVID vaccine victims. And it's on Telegram, 5,777 people on it, yeah? And you basically go through it, and it's case after case. Excuse me, the thing that I mean, these are posts, and predominantly women as well, I will have to say, but not all. You have to go there yourself, have a look for yourself if you're on Telegram. I recommend you do. There's plenty of posts here that's talking about how, and they've proved it as well, how they've put posts up on, hey, I've just received the jab. 2 days later, they put in, someone of the family's put up, sorry to see this person's gone. And this has happened so many times on here. Now, what I was suggesting to other people now, it's rather than keep getting castigated for publishing this stuff, because people can find it easy ammunition to go, well, where's your proof that that's actually real? Anyone can make an account and tap. And this is the bullshit cognitive dissonance that they're using to fight against what could possibly be happening, yeah? These are all verifiable, surely. You know, when you tap onto things like this, you can see. You could then find out details. So what you possibly need now is someone who's good at researching, someone who's got the time, someone who could look into checking out if people want to speak out, if people want to verify what the post is. I mean, let me click on one. There's so many. There is so many. That's the original. That's the comment originally that you come to right at the top, I do believe. Right, this guy. Let's start with this guy. Right. There's so many, and there's verifiable stuff, so it'll be like 3 point of evidence. It's the person's post, what they've posted before, and who they are as well. So you've got this guy here, doctor, died a few days after receiving his second dose of COVID-19 vaccine. He was known online for encouraging and taking the vaccine. Now, if it'll let me go to this.
Zaszczep się, a bronić siebie, swoich bliskich, przyjaciół, ale też pacjentów. Tak na szybko to też mam informację dla antyszczepionkowców i antykowidowców. Gdybyście chcieli skontaktować się z Billem Gatesem, to można przeze mnie. Mogę wam też użyczyć z organizmu sieci 5G. Przepraszam, że teraz nie mówiłem. Przez chwilę właśnie dostawałem autyzm.
And it's got this. Recent deceased Polish doctor got vaccinated on camera, joked about becoming a Bill Gates 5G antenna and an apologist for not being chatty because he was busy getting autism. Fucking dies, doesn't it? So it's up to people at this point whether they want to take it on board. You know, you can sit there and say, I've got blood on my hands if you want, but really? You've got bona fide people all over the place that are dropping. Now, how many people need to die to make this safe and effective? Well, only that many die, so it's all right. Oh, when it's past that many, I don't know. You tell me. So that page, there's loads on there. I mean, I don't want to go through them too much. There are a lot of personal posts where you've got females that are talking about the mothers that are talking, she had it here, she's posted that she's buzzing, she's got it now. And, you know, I could actually make a video on it. But then am I only going to get back again? Blood on your hands, you're stopping everyone taking it. And this is the middle of the roads that people who do want to call everyone an anti-vaxxer, they've got to consider what they're doing right now. They've got to consider that. Stop throwing the blame on me. Stop throwing the blame on everyone else. You might have a legitimacy with someone who runs around saying, they're trying to kill us all, they're trying to kill us all, because that's a little bit irrational at this point. No one needs to hear that. But there's something going on. Stop trying to stop me, at least, saying, what the fuck? Does that person who died 2 days later of a vaccine, do they not mean anything to anyone? Is that how we play it? Well, there'll be elements where countries now, and I think we're going to discuss this tomorrow in the stream with Brett Gill, there's countries now that are pulling back. I think an Australian minister resigned the other day. I was sent a clip. I mean, I can put the clip on. Shall I find the clip? Let's put the clip on. So if you've got an Australian minister saying, whoa, hold the phone, buddy, then I think after everything that's gone on, you need to stop just calling people off the bat, telling people that they're full of shit off the bat, whilst people are dying, people are having severe adverse effects, and no one's accountable for it.
It's all starting to unravel. It had to happen. At 3:05 p.m. today, an economist in the Victorian Department of Finance and Treasury, Sanjeev Sablock, announced that he had resigned last week. I quote, "at length, so that I would be free to speak out against the state's management of the COVID-19 infection. I made a number of criticisms of the state government on social media. The head of human relations at Treasury asked me to remove them. I resigned on the same day, the only honourable course for a free citizen of Australia." He said, "I never dreamt I'd see some of the tactics being used to defend the state's health. The pandemic policies being pursued in Australia," he wrote, "particularly in Victoria, are the most heavy-handed possible, a sledgehammer to kill a swarm of flies." He went on, "These policies are having hugely adverse economic, social and health effects, with the poorer sections of the community who don't have the ability to work from home suffering the most. Australia," he said, "is signalling to the world that it's closed for business and doesn't care for human freedoms. This will dampen business investment, but also impact future skilled migration, the education industry and tourism." Unquote. Now, echoing what I've been saying for months, this former Victorian Treasury economist said, and I quote, "the whole thing hinges on the scare created by politicians and health professionals. For instance, Victoria's Chief Health Officer, Brett Sutton, claims this is, quote, "the greatest public health challenge since the Spanish flu," unquote. He writes, "This is no Spanish flu. We can verify that easily. The Spanish flu killed at least 50 million people worldwide in 1918, when the global population was 1.8 billion. Proportionately, to be as lethal as the Spanish flu, a virus would have to kill today at least 210 million people. Instead, only around 0.9 million have died so far. Compare this," he says, "with the 60 million who ordinarily die each year." Sanjeev Sablock said, quote, "but even if the pandemic had been as big as the Spanish flu, lockdowns could never have been justified. There are strong scientific arguments against lockdowns. So what should the government have done?" He said the data were clear from February itself, that the elderly are many times more vulnerable to a serious outcome than the young. It was necessary, therefore, to work out a targeted, age-based strategy and start aggressively protecting and isolating the elderly, even as the rest of the population was advised on relevant precautions. But he said that wasn't done. He wrote, "the need for good policy process does not disappear just because we face a public health crisis. In fact, it gets even more urgent." He wrote, "the Victorian Guide to Regulation notes," and he quotes, "it is not possible for governments to provide a completely risk-free society or to prevent every possible event that might cause harm. It says risk regulation that is poorly targeted or costly will divert resources from other priorities," unquote. Governments back in February, he said, needed to commission a cost-benefit analysis of alternative policy options that took into account different scenarios, such as with and without a vaccine. Sanjeev Sablock said, thereafter, the best option had to be picked, given the uncertainty, but consisted also with the need to intrude minimally into human freedoms. This cost-benefit analysis and policies needed then to be updated as new information emerged. He said, such as the fact that epidemiological models have badly exaggerated the risk. He wrote, "I attempted repeatedly to raise my voice, but my attempts were rebuffed. The bureaucracy has clamped down on frank and fearless and impartial advice in a misplaced determination to support whatever the government decides instead of performing its taxpayer-funded duty of providing forthright analysis of alternatives." Well, listen to this. He goes on. "While there is scientific argument against lockdowns, there are divergent views on matters such as the effectiveness of masks." He wrote, "I am a mask fanatic, but there was never any reason to mandate these debatable requirements. Voluntary, performance-based rules would allow the private sector to innovate, leaving people to determine their own fate." Now, if I just interpolate here, this is what I've been saying. We can look after our own health. But the doctor goes on, quote, "thereby minimising economic harm and harm to mental health and general well-being." Now, cop this. He says, quote, "so what happens now? Billions of dollars of income and wealth have been wiped out in the name of a virus that is no worse than the Asian flu, and which can even now be managed by isolating the elderly and taking a range of voluntary, innovative measures. He says all the border closures, all the lockdowns, all the curfews in Melbourne will not eradicate the virus from planet Earth, unquote. Now, as I've said many times, politicians can't eliminate a virus. Well, The Economist concludes, and I quote, "The problem for politicians now is to reverse course without losing their job. I don't know how they plan to do it." He says, but if they don't do it sooner rather than later, the damage to Australia's future would have become so great it will undo the good work of decades of reform, unquote. That's Dr. Sanjeev Sabalok, the Senior Manager of Economic Strategy advising the Victorian Government. He's resigned on a range of efficiency, productivity, market and regulatory reforms, on cost of living issues and aspects of tax reform. He's got a PhD in economics from the University of Southern California. My point is simple, and without pumping up my tyres, Adam Crichton and I have been saying this for months. So's Andrew Bolt. One question remains, doesn't it? How many others have been silenced across all arms of government, including in Canberra? Will this doctor now be condemned, and does this failed strategy stay in place? I've warned over and over again that the political leaders who are the architects of this response will not be able to escape the kind of criticism that is now finding its way into the public place. In fact, it's worse than this. I have said we need a national advertising campaign to tell the public the truth about the fact that this virus is not a pandemic. Now, some eminent opinions are being expressed through 3 sets of data compiled by officials in Massachusetts, New York and Nevada that, listen to this, up to 90% of people testing positive carry barely any virus. Oddly enough, this was reported in the New York Times. Now all this emphasis on how many cases, how many people have tested positive, I've said from day one is rubbish. But that will all keep for another night.
Right, great Brit. Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, God damn it. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Fucking hell. He's come in. He's back in the room. I put myself on mute so I didn't want any background noise. No, I was just basically saying that guy was bob on for having balls, for standing up, and for literally talking that anyone now, really, it's how do you reverse it? How, when you've had such a, thought it was going deaf. No, you're not going deaf, mate. Red Pill Phil just is talking somewhere and it's not going through the microphone. Apologies for the unprofessional behaviour. But anyone now who's sat on this now and looking at it and thinking, I've invested everything into telling people they need to do this and wear the mask and don't go out and you're killing people and all that kind of mantra. How do I actually reverse it? How do I stop that? Because what I was saying before, it's almost like when you've told a little lie, just a little lie, maybe get you out of the crap. And there's little levels where you could have told the truth, but you didn't. And it's kept you out of it. And then it's got to that point where it's inflamed, it's massive now. But because it's massive, it's even more reason why you're not going to talk about it. Because if I do, people are going to know that at that point I could have said something at that point and none of them points I didn't say nothing. So it's going to expose me for being deceitful, being this, whatever. So do a double down. Do I say nothing and let someone else take the rip for it? And it's almost like that. Now to suggest what someone said, I don't know whether. What's all that again, Phil? I hope I said it then. Yeah, I hope when someone said there was a Matt Spurs that said something about don't insult people who've been vaccinated, and I agree with that. We don't need, we're all human beings. We've had a system that has blackmailed people into doing something physiologically they don't necessarily have to do. I mean, that guy's he's resigned for a reason because he knows his country's been taken down a dark road with these policies. And ultimately, we're looking at Australia, but our country's just the same. So I'm really thankful that Britgill sent me that clip because normally I keep my eye on this stuff, on particularly Sky News Australia, but I didn't see this clip. And I'm like, someone, I'm actually going to upload that clip on its own, on it as its entirety, because not all of my subbers watch the stream, and not all of them are going to sit through me going and having muted bits for a minute. So thank you for your perseverance, for sitting on here going, he's not got the fucking mic on. Let me ring him. Phil, get your bleeding mic on. Sorry. We're all learning. So yeah, I'm going to upload that on its own. I'm going to, because I think it's worthy. It's very worthy. So at what point do we all look? Do we all look and think, you know what? Should we get back to the shared truth? Should we get back to that shared truth? Great Brit, my friend, if you could put that link up again, please put that link up again, and I'll keep it on there for a bit. And look for yourself. I don't want to go through it on here. I've got a lot of the posts as stills, and I could quite happily do a video just showing one after the other. But have a look for yourself, make your own mind up. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone who's taking the vaccine is ultimately going to end up that way. I'm not saying that at all, and I don't want people to say that. And I'm not saying don't take the vaccine. But you have got to answer the question, do you really need to take the vaccine? And if you do, is it not worth having a look? Because if there was a new food out on the market, and everyone's going, hey, buy this shit, and everyone's buying it. Then all of a sudden, a few people were dying. It's only the same thing. You go, well, hold on. If it was a drink, like, well, hold on. I'm not gambling my life on a bit of food. Not unless I have to. I mean, if that was literally the case where they said, a snake has bit you, and this is the vaccine that possibly will stop you dying within 5 frigging minutes. What anti-vaxxer's going to say? It's all right. It's all right. Don't want it. Don't want it. Right? I know my body. Yeah? But we're not talking about that, are we? The fear's been put out like there's a snake bite everywhere. You know what I mean? That's all that again, Phil. If I was around people all day, I'd take the vaccine. Well, you know what, mate? That's an honest thing to say. And people are going to have a conundrum now. And this is why I can't criticise anyone. We've all had a sufficient amount of blackmailing, let's put it that way, that's been put in front of you. So you've got a conundrum in life. You will have. Do you want to go on holiday? If so, where to? Because they might, I'm not getting conspiratorial. It looks like with a digital passport, they might all enforce. And even if it's not this country, I don't mean to say the country where you want to go to, say, well, we want you to have the vaccine. They might, who knows? I don't know. That might be a possibility. It might be a possibility on events. Go to see a fucking match, football match, cricket match, rugby. You know what I mean? Are they going to have a stand for non-vaccinated people and a stand for vaccinated? Or are they going to say, I don't know. We know incrementally if you're thinking about it. So on that premise, when you go down the line of all the different things you'll miss, there'll be millions of people will go, well, I'm getting the vaccine because I want my fucking life back. And that's the cruel thing. That I can't ultimately go, hey, you sheep, how can I? How can I? They've got their own conundrum. They've got to weigh up the pros and the cons with them. And it's a gamble. And on the effect that, you know what, the vaccine does pretty much fuck all anyway. You have to take it pretty much every other weekend. I know you don't, but you know what I'm saying. And you still have to wear masks. You still have to run round. Wash your hands every 2 minutes. So it's up to them. They can only weigh up all that and evaluate it and make an informed decision. Pro-bleeding choice. I'm not trying to stop the world, but we know that the probability of them on an individual level really needing that virus, should we work out that sum? Doctors recommended smoking at one time. They were all at it, weren't they? That was a big money-making scheme. So what part of this, what people, when they say blood on your hands, what part of this are they not going to look and go, well, someone's making a shitload of money here? You know what I mean? There doesn't seem to be a lot about the deaths. And is there a massive compensation fund for anyone who's far to be dead of this? But then, are they offsetting the deaths of something else? So you've got to go on your own journey. Instead of listening to someone regarding them off the bat that there's some kind of freaking conspiracy theorist and then not listening. Because that is just as damaging as if that was a conspiracy theorist. All I want you to do, and you know that, is look. And I'm not saying that in a condescending way because a lot of people on here are far more smarter than me, far more researched on me. I only, I cover a broad spectrum. And that's what I like about this channel. Someone got on my case the other day. This is, I put a UFO clip up, which will happen again, let me tell you, fuck's sake. But someone's like, this is a distraction, Phil. Why don't you talk more about the vaccination that's depopulating the world? And I'm like, fuck's sake. You know, it's not the only thing going on in life, right? I'm not a one-trick pony, although I hear your point. But at the same time, there was an element of you don't want to go shouting that shit out to people because people are not going to take in your argument if that's your premise. And that's where we're at. You're going to fall into the conspiracy within 2 seconds and your argument's going to be null and void. You can't expect the average individual now who's going to take on board that they're getting cold. It's a ridiculous stance. What you can say is that this is done out of fear. This needle is probably very unnecessary, and you've got to question the actual effectiveness of it. And obviously the vaccination and what it's doing inside of people. You've got to question the actual documentation of people that have known to have died and what are they going down for. You've got to question the death count of the COVID anyway. There's so many different things to question if you want to go down that. But same again, this feels like we're going back to 9/11. Now, not to say that everything was a mad thing in 9/11, but there was manipulation in 9/11 in order to get to an agenda. And I think that was mainly successful in many ways. But at that time, people couldn't comprehend that there was elements on a compartmentalization within governments around the world that could conspire to do something. The whole thing seemed ridiculous. It was almost like 30, 40 years ago when anyone mentioned about UFOs, about little green men. It was like that. And it's like what someone said now before. Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? Are you going to wait for another 20 years to go, well, COVID, what fucking hell? We're seeing it. But you can't jump off on one and then go to Z. But we can see it. My opinion. There will be, Lois, won't there? And fair play to them. I mean, I'm not planning on getting it. My wife's booked 2 holidays. One of them's to a mate's wedding. A mate has been trying to book a wedding for 18 months. You can imagine she's been in tears multiple times because she's thought she's booked it. The raggedy-headed muppet has changed plans and it's meant she can't do this and that. It's been a shit year for her and her other mate, Carol. And it's like, Carol now has had to sack going abroad and getting married now. It's over here. So, same again. The wife's booked that. And I'm looking at her going, well, at the moment, if they're talking about digital passports, that's me out the window. You know what I mean? And then my wife probably, because her work are fucking pandering to every rule, that they might say to her, well, if you want to keep this job, you might. And this is the blackmailing that's going on. So if she then goes, well, I'm having the job because of that, what can I do? I've just got to hope and fucking pray that nothing physiological happens to her. That's got to hope, and that's not paranoia. That's a legitimate concern. But it's wrong that she should have to do that. There's nothing wrong with her. Fit as a butcher's. We've been around people for months. Not one of us have got fucking COVID or spread it to any one of us. So, seriously? You're trying to tell me to mitigate for something that is very unlikely. But yeah, you're watching people's response. So I can imagine on a fear level, Lois, you're going to get people who'll jump through the hoop because they want to get back to life. The thought of not doing. I mean, the thought of not having a job and all the consequences that's going to be to the average individual. Fucking hell. No life, no sports, no this, no that, no that. And then castigated on top of it, then probably called a dissident because you're rebelling. Then probably, who knows? See you in the gulag. Yeah, you know what? We need to start renaming it, don't we? Let's call it a positive name. Let's call it gulag something fucking good. I'll decorate it, right? So it'll look nice. Don't have to worry about that. I'm sure my boss will sort us out with some paint. I'll mention his name in it. You know what I mean? Make him a few fucking quid out of it. He won't be arsed. Let's get our little gulag community. Fuck him. Because that's where it feels like it's going. I'll be walking round with a bay leaf round, mate, within 5 years. I know it. I'll be living in some wooded area, probably with a fucking coconut as a best mate. There's my fucking projection. I hope it's not, but the way things are going, man, find me a coconut that I can get on with. Shut up, Phil. Oh, God. Yeah, look, yes. See, we've got it. I'll be going, yes, we've got the gulag. Let's call it Butlins. Let's call it fucking Butlins. We can get nice little bright blazers, can't we? Yeah. Hi-de hi, ho-de ho. Get everyone in the fucking mood. And we can take the piss out of the regular-headed muppet all day long. And I'm not disrespecting him. He's a human being. I love him like anyone else. I'm Mr. Twatcock, but let's face it, they're not my favourite people at this moment in time. So, and I don't think they're yours either. But they're humans. So, I'm not burning effigies or anything. Just give me a little grace. I can call them that if I want. Stalag. Brilliant. Like Swampert. I can't remember what plants Ray told us to eat. Listen, start downloading Ray Mears and who's the other guy? Fucking, oh, what's he called? Oh, shit. Name's on the tip of my tongue. Oh, man, he's even more successful than Ray Mears. Ray Mears is the more chilled out geezer. What's he called? Someone, please. Come on, man. Give me some help here. It's gone. Gone out of my head. I watch him all the time. Bear Grylls. Goodness sake. Bear Grylls. Thank you, sir. I'm not into all that eating snakes hanging off a tree, just raw. You know what I mean? Don't do that. I'm up for, well, I'm not saying what I'm up for at this point. Don't want to dissuade anyone from coming to our little commune. But we've got curtains. We've got decorations. What else have we got? What else? We can all bring something to the party, folks. If you make coleslaw, bring a bit of fucking coleslaw. Whatever your bag is. Magic mushrooms. Magic mushrooms. Man, that's going to be some party, that, isn't it? Music. Well, I can provide some of my music. It's not always to everyone's taste, so we can all bring a little summit. Someone can bring a guitar, get a bit of kumbaya going, yeah? Violin, flute. Come on, some of yous must be proficient. We can do this, guys. Fuck 'em. We can have our own community. Telling you. The Bailey 500. Bear Frills. Where's that? Bear Frills. That's a good one. Hey up. Very great at Butlins. Yeah, it's great. I've had good memories. Butlins. I can play the spoons. Mate, that's it. We've got the percussion. We've got percussion. Who's a vocalist in the house? Who can sing? Because it ain't me. Steel drums? Fucking steel drums. Oh, see what I mean? We're on it. We can get there, guys. Infertility on the rise. Shirley, what's that got to do with our community? But I hear you. You bring the paint. I'll scare the trigger. Deal. I know someone with a mouth organ. So we're just missing an harmonica now. All we need, right? Let's cut to the chase. We need one guy or one female that is a one-man band. Mouth organ, fucking harmonica, accordion, whatever you want to call it. A little bit of foot pedaling, get that bass drum going. You know what I mean? Little monkey sat on the top. Fucking, oh, is it a monkey? That might be racist. A little mammal sat on the top, clapping. You know what I mean? Clapping some cymbals together. And then we all bust a tune. We all do a verse each. How about that? We do a verse each, breaking this shizzle down. I think it's working. It's already. Piano. Ellie, we just got to work out how to get your piano to the woods. If we can do that, then sorry, do we put it on a pair of skates or something? Let's do it. It'd be the first community with a piano in the freaking woods, wouldn't it? I'm telling you, I'm breaking new grounds. Get tunes on it. Tunes will be on it. I didn't want to tell you, Tunes is already there. Tunes is on it. Bear eats anything that he sees. I know, and I'm not like that. I'm up for self-sufficiency, but man, I'm not just up for anything that moves mentality. But if needs must, I mean, that guy, man, he's sat in camel carcasses and drank the fluid around the intestines and I don't know. I'm not saying I want to go back to pre-packaged stuff either, but he's the furthest extreme. I'm more your Ray Mears at this point. Your nuts and berries, maybe your little animal that, let's not talk about. I'm not going to leg it after that, jump on its neck and bite into it. You know what I mean? And that's Bear Grylls. He's a little bit too primeval, that. I don't know whether I'm down with that. And, let's face it, I can't even talk about kicking the shit out of a cat in jest without, imagine, we're all walking to the promised land, all of a sudden, Bear Grylls, Pill Phil, sees a little birdie there, grabs it, boom! Imagine the trolling. Everyone would be unsubscribing. Why did he do that? Did he? Ray Mears and Bear Grylls, souls of survival, face off to the death. Face off to the death. Well, yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's a mortality thing, and you got to keep going. You got to keep going. Hey, yo, Carol. Why? Fish, chips, and curry sauce. Who said that? Man. Who's a chippy expert? We could grow potatoes. We can harness the heat. All we need is a chip pan and a way of cultivating oil, and boom, you got endless fucking chips. Don't sound a bad idea, that. We could grow bread, chip butties. If we have our wooded community near a coastal area, we could then maybe catch our own fish and chips. We can have vegetables, organic of course, peas being one of them, fish, chips and peas. I've got to suss out how to do the onion ring bit yet, and how to create tartar sauce whilst being self-sufficient would be quite beneficial at this point. But we can all troubleshoot, can't we? We can get this shit rocking. You know what I mean? Imagine we create a society that can make its own fish, chips, peas, onion rings, bread and butter, tartar sauce, on its own, with no power in the middle of a fucking woods whilst doing that to the raggedy-headed Muppet. Imagine. Imagine the power. Man, we've gone and done it. Yeah? Talk about recreating the wheel. We've just done it. We've done it. And what? Give us another challenge. You know what I mean? Do we need to create beef Wellington whilst we're out here as well? We can do it. And homebrew. Mate, you're so right. Got to have a bit of that. As long as it's not poaching. Man, got to dilute that. That is bad. No poaching. Man, there'll be civil disobedience within fucking 15 minutes of poaching or Buckfast being administered in there, or even special brew at this point. So we're going to have to, you know what I mean? We're going to have a low alcoholic content, guys. Want to stay friends, don't we? You know where it goes? Yeah, look. Bring some chickens and some ducks. So we can have a bit of, if we can make pancakes, a bit of hoisin sauce. We've made a bit of Chinese there, Oriental. Boom. I'm telling you, this community is going to bust through the ceiling. We're going to show them how it's done. We're going to show them. We're not regressing. We're ascending. We're fucking moving up. We're like an escalator. Seriously, what you looked at 5 minutes ago is now below you. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. That's what happens when you're rising, guys. We're rising. And you're full of shit, Phil. Oh, God's sake. Well, you know, I'm not saying you can't grow a bit of that, mate. Same as it's up to everyone else, innit? There you go, Stuart. Well done to you, sir. Oh, come on, just now. What's this digging out Tyrant Finder all about? I've heard there's some speculation about things going on. I don't know whether that's why you're doing it, but I don't know whether it's true or not either. As you know, I stay out of all that. I don't know whether it's justified or unjustified. You know what I mean? Not creating beefs, me. Yes, Rob. Thank you. Have a good night. Designated driver. Probably wise, mate. And you know what? When you're in that condition, right? When you're teetotal while everyone is going, right, Jimmy's the driver, you're going to see some shit. You're going to see some crazy shit that people are not going to believe in the morning, are they? When they go, man, do you remember last night? I don't know what you're on about. Why are my knickers 34? Why is me bra hanging from that? Do you remember last night? I don't know what you're talking about. Apple crumble. Here we go. Shirley's on it. Bring your apple crumble, Shirley. That's your ticket in. That's your ticket in. If you can do an apple pie, I might even upgrade you to VIP. Should we have a VIP area? Should we have a VIP area? Should we start the corruption very early? You bring me a little something and I'll make something. Yeah? Should we have it? Why not? Everyone else is fucking doing it. Stop drinking. Stop it. Stop drinking. Oh, sorry, I'm in a silly mood. All of a sudden, I'm thinking of the Bayleaf crew. These jabs, yeah, you're right. They do. They do. A lot has to stop, pal. Not just the jabs, a lot has to stop. The one thing is, you're still there. You're still of a higher vibration. You're still thinking. As long as you and your family are all right, you can't ultimately control what other people want to do with their lives. Hopefully they're doing the right thing. Let's hope they have this jab and nothing happens to them. You know, that's blessings. That's all it is. People have been coaxed, haven't they? It's the biggest coke sting that's ever happened. So we are where we are. Bailiff for bailiff. No, bailiff. We won't have bailiffs. Bailiff will actually be abolished. That will be the new word that's taken out of the vocabulary, because we won't have a need for bailiff, because you won't need to come and have someone representative of a bigger, higher power that's going to take something from you. We're already doing that to him, you know what I'm saying? Whilst eating fish, chips and peas with tartar sauce, bread and butter. Not forgetting the onion rings. So when the bailiff comes, go, do one. Do one. Unless you got some apple pie. Stop it. Flu has been hijacked by COVID and the people, held to ransom in many ways. And people are seeing, because they're starved of the liberties, because they're emotionally blackmailed because they can't see the family relationships and stuff. So it's a blackmail, it's an emotional blackmail. It'd make anyone reconsider. I've had to consider, do I ever want to go abroad again? How far do I want to take this? You know what I mean? If my firm turns around, what am I going to say when they say, I'm sorry, but everyone has to be back? What am I going to say then? And, so I can't knock people if they go, well, Phil, I hope you understand, but you know what? I've got fucking 5 kids to feed. I've got 8 kids to feed. I've got to keep this job. How can I go? Well, yeah, I can't. None of us can. So it's not about that. It's far deeper than that. And if people who are castigating and, if they could only see that it's not about attacking you. It's about, come on, let's see what's attacking all of us here. And how really, when you boil it all down, it all boils down to one thing. A lot of this shit's illegitimate. And it is. It don't make sense. And look at what you've got to do now in order for you to make it sense. Is that not irrational? Who put that? Because that was a brilliant. Yes, Frog. Constructive dismissal. Well, you can have constructive dismissal, sir. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've all got opinions, haven't we? And that's what I mean. I'm not trying to patronise or condescend, because I'm not saying I'm always right. On many levels, you can see the anxiety level. I've said in the beginning, I was one of the first to say, fear is going to probably kick in more than COVID. And I was fucking bang on. In fact, I'm so disturbed on how right I was. And it's crazy. So I can understand constructive dismissal, because this has all been so over-educated and over-academically pushed in such an overt way that the average person is lost with it all, and they're quite easily, right, because from the outside, it kind of happens, doesn't it? Stop worrying about travel abroad. Countries who rely on tourism will soon stand up. Oh, you're right, Julian. I think, this is what Brit Gill was saying, we're going to probably cover tomorrow if we do get on. So that countries are. I think there's a state in America as well that's actually outlawed mask wearing and made it null and void. So there'll be countries that are speaking out, and it ain't all conspiratorial. They ain't all going on social media listening about Q, because that's some of the allegations I've had because I've posted about that. And that is really disregarding intellectual people that run a country, seriously. And you've got some YouTube warrior that is literally going to go, well, I'm going to disregard that. No, come on. We can't, and we can't. We're too invested in this. So yeah, it's what it is. So hopefully, I'm going to probably get going anyway. Well, wear a mask, get a vaccine, get on with life. Well, if you want to, mate, go for it. I ain't stopping you. I don't think anyone here is stopping you. I'm off to go and take the dog out. Yes, McTavish, see you later. I'm going to get going anyway. Thank you very much for you all jumping on and persevering with this stream, for all the glitches on it. I'll hopefully be on tomorrow with Brit Girl and Dolly as well, and maybe Janelle, but possibly not. Other than that, you take care of yourselves, guys, and we'll work this out together and keep thinking about the Bayleaf crew. We're on it. We're on it. I'm going to ring my boss in a minute and see if I can order some more paint. Don't forget, coleslaw is definitely on the menu, right? So that's the first protocol. Yes, Lois, thank you very much. And you all take care. Wherever you may be geolocated at this point in time, look after yourselves, look after your family, and stay blessed, whatever you do. And rise above. As one wise YouTuber said, love you all, even the pissinators. Thanks, Great Brit.
I love you. 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 I love you.
Even the pissing haters.
I love you. 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 I love you.
Still here. See you later, guys. Love you all.